If you are using this, you are really cheating yourself out of a lot of German learning. Digital flashcards are not the worst thing in the world. Whenever I wrote my A1 and A2 books over here, I did make digital flashcards to go with them, and the first time around I used Quizlet, and the second time around I used Anki. So I use digital flashcards myself, but if you don't also use these things, you are seriously missing out. So what makes a great flashcard in German? Well, let's talk about what goes on the card first. Whether they're digital or paper ones, it doesn't really matter as long as you have the information on it. For nouns, I would include the noun itself, obviously, the gender of the noun, whether that's der, die, or das, the plural form of the noun, and an example sentence. On the backside of the paper, of course, you're going to write your English language or your native language on that side. For verbs, include the infinitive form, the Präteritum form, and the perfect tense form. If it's irregular in the present tense, also include that stem change on there. Also, don't forget to have an example sentence for these as well. On the backside, of course, there's where you put your native language. For adjectives, adverbs, pronouns, and prepositions, and even conjunctions, include any grammatical things that you might need to know along the way. For instance, if it's a preposition, include whether or not that is an accusative, dative, or genitive preposition, or if it's one of the two-way prepositions that could be either accusative or dative. Again, make sure that you have an example sentence to go with every single one of them. You don't want to learn just one word while you're doing this with your flashcards, you want to learn what goes around those words as well. So why do I say that you need to use physical flashcards over digital ones? Well, for creativity purposes, these simply can't be beat. You can put whatever you want on these. The flexibility that you have on a digital platform is always going to be limited by whatever platform you're using. If you're using these, you can draw a picture on here. You can put bullet points. You can draw lines and arrows and other grammatical helpful things on here that you just can't do on a digital flashcard. You can use different colors from all of these flashcards for different grammatical things. So for instance, you could use blue cards for masculine nouns, pink ones for feminine nouns, and green ones for neuter nouns. Maybe you want to use yellow ones for nouns that are always plural, or use this dark green here for whenever you're using verbs. Or you can use a different color for irregular verbs versus regular verbs. There are a lot of different things that you can do just by having colored flashcards. You can take this a step further by also using different colors of pens or markers. Let's say you use one card for different prepositions, but within those cards you can also then use a different color to indicate that this is accusative, dative, or genitive, or one of the two-way prepositions. I put an Amazon affiliate link in the description for exactly these flashcards. They are amazing because they come in 10 different colors, there are 60 different flashcards for each of the colors, and they come with a hole punched in the corner of them so that you can use these rings to bind them together. Of course, you could also just go to wherever it is that flashcards are sold and find some colored ones. Never underestimate the power of handwriting, because typing just doesn't connect with your brain in the same way as handwriting things does. While you're writing things down, you can use this as a time to study the words while you're writing them out, because it takes longer for you to write them out by hand. So while you're writing, you can say, der Apfel, die Äpfel, der Apfel, die Äpfel. Ich habe den Apfel gegessen. Der Apfel, die Äpfel. Ich habe den Apfel gegessen. You can work on pronunciation, you can work on your repetition, you can burn this word into your brain as you're writing it out on the piece of paper. I recommend using a multi-sensory approach when learning with flashcards. Writing them out is one way. Looking at them is another sense. Then whenever you're saying them out loud, it's another sense. And if you continue to do this, you have different senses that are all working together to memorize that one thing that is on the card. Also, whenever you're writing things by hand, it's very difficult to focus on something outside of that. So you are honed in on the thing that you're supposed to be learning. There's something about holding flashcards in your hand that really makes it so that the words stick in your brain better. I don't know why, but things that I see online or on my phone don't actually stick in my brain very well. If I see a meme at like 12, I probably will have forgotten what that meme said at 12:05. The same thing is true whenever I'm using digital flashcards. I may remember them whenever I'm looking right at them, but 5 minutes later, that information is gone. Holding a physical flashcard with the word on it makes it so that it sticks in my brain better. Now, when it comes to using your physical flashcards, there are a bunch of different things that you can do with this. You can obviously go with the traditional version where you just look at one side of the card and read the word that's on there and then flip it over and read the other side. Or you can read the example sentence and flip it over and read the example sentence in your native language. But flipping back and forth is obviously the boring version of this. You could start by looking at one side of the flashcard and write down what you think the answer should be and the translation of the example sentence that you have written down. Then you can check your answer with the other side of the flashcard. If you're looking to boost your creativity while you're learning with flashcards, you can mix them all up and then pick a few at random. Then see if you can make a sentence using that. If you really want to take it up a notch, try and make an entire story using this methodology. Physical flashcards are an interactive, tangible, and customizable way to learn German. For more information about learning German or resources that I recommend, go to germanwithantrim.com. Das ist alles für heute. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss!